Hey all, um, today we're going to talk about all of the achievements available in the digital versions of Ticket to Ride as a game. I guess you could try and achieve some of these things in a normal game with a human, um, but a lot of them aren't going to be achievable because there's certain sort of glitches you need to look out for, which I'll explain. So, um, as you can see, we've got a list of challenges here. In fact, this is just for the USA map. If I put it on for all maps, we can see this long list, and all of those are completed. I've just recently completed the entire game. So we'll start at the top. We'll go all the way kind of down, and it will cover kind of all of the maps as well. So first of all, we've got the pressure gauge challenges. So we've got 80, 120, 160, 200, 240. These are all exactly the same in as far as the aim is to obtain a score of that value, as it says 240 or more. When you start out, it's fairly easy to get a pressure gauge 80. If you win the game, you're most likely to have to hit that fairly soon. But yeah, that's the kind of some of the first challenges. You probably would find that you'll get pressure gauge 80 and 120. 160 is fairly tricky, and then to get 200 and 240 you need to be applying some advanced strategies. If we look at actually something else I should say, if I change it, so this is just the USA maps, so you can see there's 5, 10, 15, 20 challenges on the USA map. If we change the map to, I don't know, let's go to Switzerland for example, I've got 5 additional challenges, but I've still got the original 5 pressure gauge challenges. So if you've completed pressure gauge 80 or 120 on any map, it will carry through to any other map as well. So you don't have to get 200 on every single map and stuff like that. So let's just go back and we'll expand it all. So the next set of challenges are the punch tickets. So again, 3 and 6 is fairly easy to get, as it says USA map and single player only. When we get to 12 and 15, again, we need some really advanced strategies to do that. So let's go down a little bit. So hobo win. So a lot of these I won't need to explain in much detail because the text at the bottom gives enough detail. As it says, you win without completing any ticket. So ideally you want to draw low scoring tickets because they're going to be deducted at the end, and what you want to do is just get really long individual train lengths, get the kind of the 6 length train routes which are worth 15 points each. Stack those up, try and block your opponent as well, and that way you can win without any tickets. Trestle, win using no 1 or 2 space routes, self-explanatory, and so is handcar, where you win without any locomotives. Transcontinental, as it kind of shows in the little graphic, you need a continuous single route of 45 trains, so no deviations where it branches off somewhere else, just one long continuous route that you can follow without double backing of all 45 pieces. Again, it's quite an interesting challenge. It specifically says you have to win. Some of them you don't actually need to win the game, you just need to achieve that particular objective. This one you need to win and get 45, so it's important that when you get down to the last number of trains to lay, whether you're ahead of your opponent or not, make sure that you don't have something like 2 routes of 1 to play right at the end when you get down to the last 2 trains available, because you'll only have 1 go left and you won't actually be able to lay all 45 trains. Coal tender, again self-explanatory, all you're doing is using the black route. Actually, it's not true, not all you're doing, you just have to claim every single black route of every single length without exception. Obviously you can still link those up with other routes as well. Economy class, so this one takes a little bit of concentration. You have to make sure you don't have more than 10 train cards in your hand at any one time. So quite likely you're going to be going for the small to medium length routes, because to hold enough cards for the long routes, it may mean that you're going to want to go over 10, so you can't hold obviously more than 10 cards any one time. Poker player, so all you need to do is get all the 5 length routes. I think there's 8 of them possibly. So the 5 length routes will give you a decent score as well in their own right, but also you have to collect all of those. Old movies, that was quite a challenge. Only claiming grey routes, so literally no colours of no routes that are pre-coloured are allowed. You can only claim the grey routes. So again, when you pick your destination tickets, make sure that you're picking routes and destinations that are only going to take you where you can just win by laying grey routes. The 4 Vanderbot win, it's when I first started, that seemed like quite a challenge. I kind of thought, I'm used to playing against one other computer player or human opponent, it's going to be quite a challenge. But playing against 4 Vanderbot, relatively easy. Just basically block popular routes and make sure you get long tickets completed where you can, and more often than not you'll win. The Dynamite Joe, where your opponents haven't completed any of their tickets, so again you need to be really on the ball as to where your opponents are going. Of course you don't know what their tickets are, but you need to kind of block their routes, make sure you still get your routes. Another way to do this, another strategy is just try and get a win as quickly as possible. It's quite difficult to finish a game quite a number of trains ahead of your opponent, but yeah, I mean, try to stack as little as possible in regards to you want to be quick with kind of putting trains down. You can play a lot of 1 and 2 trains just to kind of plough through the game and finish it as quickly as possible so that they don't actually have any tickets. Of course you still need to win though. Now these were one of the last set of challenges that I completed. They were quite late in the day for me because they're quite high scoring, pressure gauge 300 and pressure gauge 400. And I should also mention 400 and 300 in the same way as the tickets 3 to 15 and pressure gauge 80 to 240. If you complete a higher scoring win first, it will backfill the others. So for example, you don't have to win a game with 3 and with 6 and with 9 and with 12 and 15. You could win a game with 12, kind of right off the bat, and that will backfill games that need 3, 6 and 9 ticket wins. And obviously you'd still need 15. It's unlikely that you're going to play this and get 15 tickets of your first or second go before getting 3 or 6. You are most likely to progress, but as you get up towards perhaps 6 tickets, you might find that you can sort of push yourself, go for 12 or 15, and if you achieve 15, it saves you having to play a game where you're aiming for 9 or 12. And the same with the score. If you can score 200 in a game and your highest score before that's been 95, you don't need to get the 120 and 160. They'll backfill just by you winning that. Pressure gauge 400 and 300, they're only possible, as it says, in the Mega variant, and it's because of the fact that the Mega variant in the US map contains so many more routes as an expansion, that you've got enough tickets and enough points to make that 400. In the original game, you just couldn't possibly get to 400 points with all of the tickets available to you. Urban Traveller, there's a big cities variant. Again, I talk about these different variants and maps in another video, but you need to connect all of the 7 big cities in the USA big cities variant. First tracks, so you're handed out 5 tracks in the Mega variant to begin with. Keep all of those and win with them. Modest Entrepreneur, so there are 2 bonuses. This is quite a tricky one actually. The 2 bonuses are the longest train route and the most number of tickets. So your strategy really is to create lots of small disparate kind of train routes. Try not to create a really, really long one because you'll win that bonus. And also, you're offered 3 tickets, I think, to begin with. Keep 2. I think 2 is the minimum. Sorry, no, that's not true. 3, I think, you have to keep. So pick one of the routes as being a really low scoring one that you're not going to bother completing. Complete the two that are as high scoring as possible without being likely to be so long that it's going to cause you to have the longest train route. Actually, I was going to say pick up some other tickets in the game. That's if your opponent is picking up tickets, but even then, you kind of really want them to complete their tickets. You want them to complete 3 tickets and you to complete 2, or them to complete 4 and you to complete 2. But you need to still win, so you want to get the longest routes possible. So a 6 space route will give you 15 points. So you want to build your score up as much as possible. You want to frustrate the opponent so they're not scoring any of their long routes, because not only will they not get that, but they'll also lose the points for their long route. But you do want them to complete their short routes. So if it looks as though they're going for a 3 space track and 2 space track, let them have it. You want them to get that. You want them to get those points, or rather, you want them to get that ticket, so they have more punch tickets and a longer train length than you. It's a fun one to play, but it's also quite frustrating. The Orient Express route. So this is onto the Europe maps now, and as it says, London, Paris, München, Wien, Budapest, Bucharest, and Constantinople. It doesn't matter which order you connect all of those, but you just need a route that goes through all of those. The Romanov train, again, it's just connecting 11 cities. They're on the far right of the map, and they're all the kind of the Russian cities. Again, not particularly complex to achieve. The Baltic Explorer, there's actually on the Europe map an 8 space and tunnel piece of track. You need a like one of the earlier challenges where you needed a 45 length train with no kind of deviation off somewhere or double back in. So you need to win with a 45 length route, but you must go through the 8 space tunnel as well. Diagonal we trust, again pretty easy. Top right hand corner of the map you've got Petrograd, and the bottom left you've got Cadiz. Top left you've got Edinburgh, bottom right you've got Erzurum. So either of those, go diagonally across either side of the map, and that's that challenge. Sunny Mediterranean, really easy. Cadiz, Barcelona, Marseille, and Roma, and Palermo, really easy. It's probably takes you about, I don't know, maybe 15 to 20 or so train pieces. It's just the kind of bottom left towards the middle of the Europe map. This one's the mole one, isn't it? The mole. So, because obviously you've got tunnels in the European maps, and if you're not familiar with that, go and check one of my early videos where I talk about that. But you need to win with at least 23 of your train cars going through tunnels. It's not overly complex. You have to be a bit careful as to what routes you take, because of course 23 of your trains minimum have to go through tunnels. You've only got 45 trains, leaving you no more than 22 regular train pieces to connect up all of those different places with tunnels. Definitely achievable, fairly quick to perform that one. The Alphorn player, no country to country or city to country tickets. So the Switzerland map allows you to go between country and country and city and country, and you just need to win a game where you're not actually making any of those connections. So the destination tickets you choose really need to be the ones that are kind of more central on the map, and don't connect, as I said, cities to countries and countries to countries. Chocolate Explorer, there's 4 surrounding countries on the Swiss map. I think it's France, Italy, Austria and Germany. I could be wrong, but there's definitely 4 countries that surround the Swiss map, and you just need to connect all of those together. Valley Commuter, as it says, you win without claiming any tunnel route, self-explanatory. Ticket Puncher, so you need the deck of destination tickets to be empty at the end. So actually one of the things I didn't mention in my previous video about the Swiss map is the tickets, once the destination tickets are drawn, they're discarded, they don't go back into the pack. So you can actually exhaust the ticket stack. So really what you want to do is draw as many tickets as you can, select the routes that are most achievable or lowest scoring if they're not, just so that you lose the fewest points, and discard the rest. So you're collecting no more than 1 ticket per ticket draw. And I don't know, I think it's within like 6 or 7, maybe a few more draws of the tickets, you can exhaust the pile, sort of in the later stages of a game. So it's also fairly achievable. The Lake Express, so there are a number of lakes in Switzerland. Obviously, they're all listed here. You need to know what they are, connect all those locations. Okay, so now we're going to the Asia game, I believe, which is where you've got a challenge called Mountain Hermit. As it says, you win only claiming mountain routes. This is a bit more challenging, perhaps, than it might sound, but it's still, again, achievable. The Marco Polo, so you need to connect 22 cities. This is definitely not as easy as it sounds. So again, I won't go into the details. I talked about it in a previous video, but you can connect multiple cities together. Sometimes you can play one train route. Obviously, that will connect kind of two cities, and you basically there's a map strategy where, especially if you go towards the right hand side of the map, you can fairly easily, although it might take you a few turns, but get 22 cities all connected together. If anyone's interested, I can do a video showing the map on that one. Double Trouble, so only claiming double routes. Again, self-explanatory. Faster than Mongolian Horse. Pretty complicated actually, because you have to win in 24 turns or less, and that's not you making 24 moves or 24 attempts at laying cards. That is 24 turns between the two of you. So drawing cards is a turn for you, drawing cards for your opponent, that's a turn as well. So effectively you're going to have 12 goes, I guess, at winning. So you pretty much need to be laying track almost every single turn, picking a piece, picking a card, laying a track, picking some cards, laying some track. You're definitely not likely to be getting any particularly long routes on this one, because you just need to quickly whip through your cards as fast as you can, just so you can get down to to sort of finish the game within those 24 or 23 turns. I don't think it's, I don't know, maybe it is possible to do it in 22 or 21 turns. I think 23 and 24 are possible. So Fakir, I think this is yes it is, it's the Indian map that we're looking at now, and you have to win without any mandala bonus. So mandala is Sanskrit for circle, and a mandala bonus is achieved when you basically complete a destination, say for example Jaipur to Madras, and the actual destinations form a loop. So you can go through other destinations as well, but if you start at Jaipur, you go somewhere to Madras, and then Madras somehow through some other destinations loops back and goes back through Jaipur, you've created a kind of a circle between those two destinations. You'll get a bonus for that. So the Fakir is you win without any of those at all. So all of your destination tickets need to be complete without, as I said, kind of creating a circuit or a circle. It's fairly easy to do. Hand of Kali. So this one, you have to prevent your opponents from scoring any mandala bonus. So again, a keen eye on the board to see where your opponents are playing, and make sure that at no point are they able to create a loop between any of their destinations. The Mandala Maharaja, so you need the 5 mandalas bonus, so that means you need 5 destinations all complete that all loop round together. They can loop together, basically like a kind of a big circle. You can deviate, it doesn't need to be a perfect circle, it just needs all of the the start and the start of a route, it needs to go through one destination all the way through 5 destinations, and then loop back to the first in some way or another, and it's relatively easy. The British Raj Tour, so again, this is pretty simple. It's just connecting a number of locations: Delhi, Calcutta, Madras and Bombay, and you do that in a single mandala, so all of those have to be connected in a single loop. I think we're now onto the Nordic countries. Yes, we are. So we've got the Santa Express. So you win with the Murmansk Liekska road. So that particular road, it's an 8 train, I think, road worth 27 points. If memory serves, you need to basically win with that particular piece of track complete. So that's pretty simple. The Arctic Circle, again, it's another one where you just have to connect a certain number of cities together. The Pole Express, so you again connect a certain, 2 cities together, Aarhus and Honningsvåg, and you need to do that with 24 trains, and it has to be 24 trains. You can't do it with 25 trains, it has to be 24 trains, and then you have to also win the game. It was fairly achievable. Landlines, win without using any ferries, dead simple, just as it says, don't use any ferries. Finger in every pie, so this is the Pennsylvania map, and the Pennsylvania map, you receive stocks and shares from companies. In fact, on the right you can see a couple of shares here. So we've got the Erie one, B&O, the Pennsylvania Railway, and without going into the mechanics of it, when you claim routes, you can also, in some instances, claim some stocks and shares, and I think there are something like 8, maybe 9 stocks and shares available. Whatever it is, you need to make sure that you have a stock in every single one of those companies that are on the map. So the stocks and shares are available for certain companies on certain parts of the map and not others. So, and some of them, there's only two shares available, so you definitely need to make sure you get in there before your opponents and get one of those shares fairly quickly. So yeah, pretty simple. Just make sure you finish the game and win the game with one from every company. 3 of a kind, so you're only looking at the Erie Lackawanna Railway, the Baltimore and Ohio, and the Pennsylvania one. Only stocks from those companies. So a little bit of strategy, you might find that you can't turn down stock. So if there's a route that takes you through, a train route that takes you through a length of track that has something that isn't a stock from one of these companies, and that's the only option, don't take that route, because it will then give you a stock in that company, and of course you then fail the 3 of a kind because you've now got something different. But this is fairly easy with a little bit of perseverance. The Stranger, so you win without any action from the Pennsylvania Railroad. Again, I mean, Pennsylvania is the stock that is the most prevalent on the map, so what you need to do is navigate a route in which you don't pick up any of the Pennsylvania Railroad stocks and shares. And the early bird, so it's either buy that stock first or have the most of that stock. In any case, I don't recall it being overly complicated. I think now we're on Germany with intercities, so winning while only completing short destination tickets, self-explanatory. That's Rygold, again very self-explanatory, it's just particular locations, but you have to do it within 15 turns. Now note, you won't win the game within 15 turns, there'll still be a lot to play. You have to have completed all of these routes within 15 turns. You then need to continue playing the game until you've exhausted all the trains and make sure that you've won as well. The Berlin Traveller, as it says, connect Berlin to the 5 surrounding countries. The Mega Commuter, actually, should I see if I can remember the 5 surrounding countries? So I think we've got Denmark, the Netherlands, Switzerland, France, and I'm going to say Austria. I think that's Austria. But yeah, Mega Commuter. So this is, I think this is still Germany, and it's only the long destination tickets, so it's basically the opposite of the intercities. So we're now on to the UK map. The UK map, London Calling, so claim all routes to London. I think there's something like 8 or maybe 7, but London is like, it's shown as a central hub, and where you can see kind of all these pieces coming in centrally to the Big Ben clock. Although actually, a little bit of trivia, the bell is called Big Ben, not the clock. But anyway, you need to make sure you've got all of these so that your opponent has no way of getting into London at all. Business Angel, so the The UK game, you buy technologies and you have to win a game whilst you've bought the boiler lagging technology before you've even claimed your first route. So you need to purchase that and then obviously start claiming routes. When having the Southampton to New York route without buying the propeller technology. So you don't need the propeller technology to do this route, clearly by the description there, but generally in a game you will buy the propeller technology anyway, so that you can cross borders and go from Wales, England or Wales to Ireland, or from Scotland to Ireland, even Scotland to England. You can do that via a ferry, which you need the propeller technology for. It doesn't stop you playing routes in other countries, it just means you can't connect country to country. The other thing, so the Southampton to New York route, I think it's the longest on all of the maps. It's 10 spaces long. It's worth 40 points to complete it. You need 3 locomotives as a minimum to play it. So it's quite an interesting one. France to Wales. So win a game connecting France to Wales with any cities. Self-explanatory. And an alternative one, not sure why it's called I Love Ginger, but you win a game connecting cities from Ireland and Scotland. In fact, that one's only cities from Ireland and Scotland. Was this one only? No. So this one you can connect. You have to connect France and Wales, but you can still connect other stuff. This one, you can't actually get any routes in England or to France or Wales at all. It has to be just Scotland and Ireland. She's Got a Ticket to Ride, a little nod to a Beatles song there. Winning a game while connecting Liverpool, Beatles, to London and New York in that order. So, of course, in that order. So, start off at Liverpool, all the way down to London, and then all the way across to Southampton. So you can then take that 10-piece route that I mentioned all the way to New York. The Atlantic Wall. Yeah, I think this is France. So, the Atlantic Wall, claim all the coastal routes connecting all the cities of the Channel Sea and the Atlantic Ocean. Self-explanatory when you're on the map. And the European Union, this is definitely the French map. Connect all countries except Switzerland. And when it says except Switzerland, woe betide you if you happen to connect Switzerland as well. You literally will not get that win, as I found out when I managed to connect every country, including Switzerland. It really does mean it when it says except Switzerland. It's not an optional, it's a do not connect Switzerland. Impressionism. Right, this is 8 tracks of length 5 in different colour. Right, so you need to basically build. You don't need to win for this. You don't even need to claim the tracks. In the French game, you basically put the colours down on all of the tracks yourself. So there isn't a route that's length 5 that's blue. There's a length 5 that's grey, and then you assign it blue at some point in the game, for example, or orange or whatever. And you don't have to claim that. You don't have to lay track on it. You just have to claim it and say, that piece of track will be orange for whether myself or an opponent lays track on it now or at some point later. So that's just, there's no need to win, but you do need to put the all 8 track lengths of 5 in different colours, and your opponents can scup you there. If they claim a length 5 track and put a colour down, you can't claim it, so you have to claim all of them. The 1, 2, 3 win, so basically, as it says, lengths of 1, 2 or 3, pretty simple. The 100 days. So Napoleon took a route on his return from exile from the island of Elba, and you need to basically march his route as well. So you connect Corsica, Nice, Grenoble, Lyon and Paris, and it has to be in that order. And last but not least, this is a really interesting one, the blue, white and red. So you can't do this with fewer than 4 players. It says single player only, but you have to have 4 players, because only in the bigger games can you claim the same piece of track. 68 challenges. So they're all the challenges for you. Good luck in your challenges. I've recorded and uploaded a video of me completing the pressure gauge 240 and the pressure gauge 400, and if anyone wants to see any particular videos or any particular map layouts, let me know in the comments below. But thank you once again for watching.